Hi guys! Okay, so this is it. The 2016 book challenge is over. I can't believe it. This year has been absolutely mental. Work's been crazy, life's been crazy. Sadly, had a bereavement in July. I have had some amazing moments with my family, and obviously some very sad moments as well. Uh, I've grown so much in confidence, and I think it's because of doing these videos every single week. I've really thoroughly enjoyed meeting new people. I can't believe I've had some ridiculous. I think I'm on like 14,000, 15,000 hits or something. I've got 65 subscribers, and I never started this thinking anyone would actually watch these. This is more for me, really. I've created various videos that people have asked me to do. I've done, I had really great times with my sister making videos as well. This has been so great to do, and I've read now 52 books in 52 weeks, and I have read an amazing, I actually counted each book, how many pages and such that I've read. I have read a staggering, just looking at my screen, 20,630 pages in 52 weeks. I can't believe I have done that. That is absolutely insane. So I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's watched these videos, who has commented, who has made suggestions for stuff, who subscribed, who keeps watching. Fantastic. I love you all. Thank you so much for doing that. It's absolutely amazing. Now, going forward into the new year, I have decided that I want to stick with this, but I want to make a few little tweaks. So firstly, I'm going to carry on doing book challenge. I'm going to be reading books. I'm going to be doing reviews just as I have been doing, but I'm not going to do one book a week. Now, the reason why is because there's lots of things throughout the year where I've had to cancel things, or and such, that just because I'm behind in my reading, I had to fit in the week. It kind of feels like I've pretty much all I've done this year is read and work. So like to get some more things back, and also I did a college course earlier this year which I absolutely loved in creative writing, and I want to really explore that, but I can't really do that if I'm constantly reading in evenings as such to meet the target in one book a week. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read books, but I'm going to read them at my own pace, and I will publish reviews when they're ready, basically. So you might not get videos from me every single week, but I'm still going to be sorting out reviews and everything for you, and also doing additional videos with my sister whenever she's over, and any other suggested videos and such as well. So, you may have seen in my announcement video previously that I held up 2 jars. So I had the red jar, or pink jar should I say, and the blue jar, and currently they've got lots of bits of paper in them. Now, I've done something a little different, because all of this year, all I've read is fiction. But I've got lots of non-fiction as well that I would like to read. So the pink jar is fiction, and the blue jar is non-fiction. Now, I have gone through all of my book collection. I have taken, obviously not going to be in these jars, there's no books that I've read so far this year. And there are a couple of other fictional book series that I haven't put in because I just don't fancy rereading them at this time. I may change my mind later, and if so, I will put them in the jar. But what I want this to be kind of a continual thing. So it's not going to be, these are all the book titles in here that I'm going to read specifically this year, because I'm going at my own pace. I don't know how many of these books I'm going to read. So it's going to be a continual thing. And if I get more books, I'll add them to the jars, and just carry on and carry on and carry on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate. So if I start off with the fiction jar, then the first book I'm going to read is fiction, then the next non-fiction, then fiction, non-fiction, etc. Or if it's the other way around, I'll start off non-fiction first and then go to fiction. Now you may notice that there's it looks like there's considerably fewer titles in the fiction jar than the non-fiction jar. Now the reason why is because there are various book series in this jar. But rather than doing one slip of paper per book, which is what I did last year, I've got one slip to cover an entire book series. So for example, a series of unfortunate events is in this jar, which is 13 books. So rather than having 13 separate slips of paper, I have got one slip of paper that says a series of unfortunate events, 13 books in brackets. If I pick a series out of the fiction jar, then I will read the entire series from book 1 to the very end before going on to the non-fiction jar. So there could be long periods of fiction before a non-fiction appears, just so you know. And obviously, so the one reason why there looks like there's more slips of paper in the non-fiction is because non-fiction, they're mainly individual books. So thus I've got individual titles here. Now, what are the actual books I'm going to be reading? Well, I have quite a list for you, and I'm going to read them off my screen because they would cover so many books. I wouldn't be able to move for the amount of books and such, and I'd be rushing across the room to grab other books to hold them up to the camera and everything, which is, you know, you don't want to watch. It's going to be an absolute mess. So I'm just going to read them off my screen for you. So, right, so here we go. Sorry, you have to give me a second. I need to go to the appropriate area in order to get to it. Hang on. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my fiction list. So here we go. So we've got The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's all 5 books. I've got them combined as one by Douglas Adams. The 10th Kingdom, War and Peace, J.K. Rowling's books. That's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, her strike novels, and Casual Vacancy. Then I've got Austenland, Midnight in Austenland, the series of unfortunate events, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, the Shardlake series, which is 6 books written by fantastic C.J. Sansom, The Pillars of the Earth, World Without End, Finding Audrey, The Lonely, Versailles, which is based on the Series 1 screenplay, which has been made into a novel, The Reader on the 627, and then there were none, The Eyes of the World, Deception, Tale of Intrigue and Lies, Beware the Claws That Catch Alice, The Girl with All the Gifts, The Girl on the Train, The Woman in Black, Bird's Song, Book Thief, A Tale of Two Cities, Talking Head Series 1. Hang on, I've just got to scroll down. Starter for 10, the Miss Peregrine trilogy. I did the first book as my very first book review for the 2016 challenge, but I wanted to read the others. I've now got the others, so I'm going to read all the trilogy. Oliver Twist, Pride and Prejudice, Bleak Expectations, the novel, which is based off the radio series, which I love. Notre Dame de Paris, Jane Eyre, Les Miserables, David Copperfield, Nicholas Nickleby, Gone with the Wind, Anna Karenina, Neverwhere, the Divergent trilogy, His Dark Materials trilogy, The Railway Children, The Witness for Prosecution, The Murder on the Orient Express, All the Bright Places, and The Help. So that's the fiction list. Okay, so I'm now going to look at the non-fiction list, so hang on a sec. So the non-fiction list. We've got The Brontes, Love Nina, Anne Frank, the book The Life, the Afterlife, My Name is Anne, she said, Anne Frank, Alexander Hamilton, The Honest Courtesan, Is It Just Me, Did She Kill Him, A Victorian Tale of Deception, Adultery and Arsenic, Mr. Briggs's Hat, Monarchy, Titanic Voices, Anne Frank the Biography, Treasures from the Attic, The Extraordinary Story of Anne Frank's Family, Henry, The Virtuous Prince, Charles Dickens, The Good, the Bad and the Multiplex, The Fry Chronicles and Moab is My Washpot. They're the first 2 autobiographies that Stephen Fry has written. He's done a more recent one, but I haven't got that one. If I get it, before I obviously pick it out of the jar, then I will include that in the trilogy, but I just have to see if I get the next one. Anyway, Fatal Colours, Young Romantics, the Shelleys, Byron and Other Tangled Lives, Catherine of Aragon, Henry's Spanish Queen, Lives Like Loaded Guns, Emily Dickinson and Her Family Feuds, A Very British Murder, The Story of a National Obsession, If Walls Could Talk, The Intimate History of the Home, Courtiers, The Secret History of Kensington Palace. Some more. Okay, the Frank McCourt biographies. He wrote 3 biographies in total, so all 3 of them I've got. I absolutely love them, and they're in the jar. So, Dynasty: The Rise and Fall of the House of Caesar, Our Zoo: The Real Story of My Life at Chester Zoo, Mad Girl: The Wicked Boy, Gypsy: A Memoir, Child Star: An Autobiography, Peggy and Me, Straight Jacket: How to Be Gay and Happy, The Last Royal Rebel: The Life and Death of James Duke of Monmouth, No Cunning Plan: My Story, it's Tony Robinson's biography, A Street Cat Named Bob, A Mammoth Book of Vietnam War, Natasha: The Biography of Natalie Wood, Storyteller: The Life of Roald Dahl, 7 Deadly Sins: My Pursuit of Lance Armstrong, 1864, The Rival Queens, Sophia, the Princess Suffragette Revolutionary, It's Only a Movie, The Golden Girls of MGM, The Glamour and Grief, Get Happy: The Life of Judy Garland, Desperate Romantics: The Private Life of the Pre-Raphaelites, 12 Years a Slave, The Railway Man, I'm nearly there, scroll down here, Beatrice Potter: The Extraordinary Life of Victorian Genius, Wedlock: How Georgian Britain's Worst Husband Met His Match, Georgiana, Duchess of Devonshire, The Last White Rose, Love and Louis XIV, Marie Antoinette, King Charles II, The Lady in the Tower, which is The Fall of Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth, 6 Wives of Henry VIII, Zodiac, Perfect Murder, The Devil in the White City, Devil's Knot, Anne Frank Remembered, The Last 7 Months of Anne Frank, Anne Frank: The Diary of a Young Girl. As you can probably tell, I have a liking for Anne Frank. Girl Interrupted, The 6 Wives of Henry VIII. I've got 3 books that are called The 6 Wives of Henry VIII or 6 Wives of Henry VIII in this list, all done by different authors, of course. Catherine Swineford, The Princess in the Tower, Elizabeth the Queen, Children of England, The Heirs of King Henry VIII, Henry VIII, King and Court, The 6 Wives of Henry VIII, and Born to Run, the autobiography by Bruce Springsteen, which I got earlier today. So, that is the full list of books that are in these 2 jars. So yeah, as you can tell, there were a lot of fiction, as I said, just because there are fewer slips of paper than in the fiction jar than the non-fiction. There are lots and lots of extra books because of multiple books in the series. There are, as I said, I haven't put in any book that I've read in this so far, this year's challenge. I've left out 3 fictional book series. Poldark, because I've been doing videos about those anyway. The last 2 I really need to get on with because I haven't had a chance to do them. Game of Thrones, because I'm not really that fussed about rereading them right now, and I've got various Sophie Kinsella books and such, which I just read for a little light reading. They're good, they're alright, but I'm not fussed about doing reviews about the series and such, so I left them out. Other than that, this is if you take those 3 book series and all the books of 2016 that I've done reviews of, there's pretty much every single book in my book collection is in these jars, apart from cookery books and books about films that I love and TV series or fashion, that kind of stuff. Stuff that you can't really do proper reviews like I have done of. So yeah, my entire pretty much book collection are in these jars. So now we need to figure out the starting point. So, as you know, this year I chose what my first book was going to be, and I chose Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children and absolutely loved it. And I decided that I want to do that again. I want to choose, just as my only kind of control, as you could say, over the challenge, I want to be able to choose what the first book of the year will be. It's just the way I am. So, because I've got 2 jars, I have chosen 2 books. One in fiction and one in the non-fiction. So, and both of them are really quite chunky, but both of them I'm absolutely desperate to read, and I've been waiting a year to read these books. So, for fiction, it is The Mammoth, the Block, that is Tolstoy's War and Peace. It's like 1,500 pages. I am desperate to read this book. So this is my choice for fiction. And for non-fiction, because I've become absolutely obsessed with Hamilton, is Alexander Hamilton, by Ron Chernow. This is the book that Lin-Manuel Miranda picked up to read on his holiday and instantly loved it and instantly started writing Hamilton, which becomes the phenomenon that it is. And so I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to read this book. And yeah, I really, really want it to be my first non-fiction book. So now it's time for me to decide, do I start with fiction or do I start with non-fiction? And the only way I can think to do that is the toss of a coin. So I'm going to say, if it's heads, then it'll be fiction. If it's tails, then I'll start with non-fiction. Okay? So let's do it. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay? And it is... it's heads. So I'll be starting then with fiction. And my first book that I'll be starting from Monday of 2017 is the block that is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. So I will be back as soon as I can with my review of War and Peace. It's going to be hard. I think it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and as I said, I'm going to take my time with it, so don't expect a review next week of War and Peace, especially since I'm going to be back at work on Tuesday. And yeah, so I'll be reading War and Peace, then I will read Alexander Hamilton, and then after that it's over to the pink and the blue jars of randomness. Yay. So yeah, so that's the plan of action, and yeah, going forward this is going to be a continual thing. If I buy any more books or get any more books as presents and such, I will add them to the jar. I will let you guys know what they are, and I'll add them to the jar. And yeah, this is gonna carry on until further notice, and I guess I will see you guys then when it'll be, yeah, post New Year. I'm going to get those last couple of Poldark videos done. I'm planning to shoot them tomorrow whilst this and my other video is being uploaded and such, and obviously get it to you ASAP. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys then next year with my thoughts on War and Peace, and obviously my other Poldark books and videos. And yeah, I will see you guys then. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. If you've got any comments or any suggestions for books and such, then please let me know. And I'll see if I can get a hold of copies and therefore put them in the jar. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Alright then guys. Bye.